need to tell you something. I've never told anyone this, not my wife, not my therapist, sure as hell not the police. Because if I tell them, they'll think I'm crazy. They'll want proof, and I don't have any. But you're just watching a video, right? You can click away whenever you want. But something tells me you won't. Because what happened to me back in November 2019, it might explain things you felt too. Those weird moments you told yourself were nothing, just your imagination. My name's David Chen. I'm 31. I live in Portland. And 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I volunteered for a sleep study that shouldn't fucking exist. So, October 2019, I was broke as hell. Grad student, psychology major. Yeah, the irony isn't lost on me. I'm walking through campus and I see this flyer. Yellow paper, basic font. Earn $3,000, participate in a non-invasive sleep study. 5 nights, no medications, no side effects. $3,000 for sleeping. I mean, come on. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. I called the number right there. This woman picks up, super professional, kinda cold though. Asks me the basics, age, medical history, sleep problems, meds, all that. I passed their screening. She gave me an address, some research facility on the edge of town. Told me to show up Monday at 8 p.m. Don't bring anything. We'll provide everything you need. The second I pulled into that parking lot, man, I knew something was wrong. The building looked normal enough. Small medical complex, maybe 4 stories, but the parking lot was completely empty. Every single window was dark, except one. 4th floor, just one light, that's it. I sat in my car for like 5 minutes, hand on the keys. I almost left, I really did. But $3,000 is $3,000, right? So I went in. The lobby felt wrong, too clean. Like a movie set, you know? No receptionist, no sounds. Just this note on the front desk with my name on it. David Chen, elevator, 4th floor, room 12. The elevator ride, I swear to God it took forever. Way longer than 4 floors should take. And it was so quiet. Just this low humming sound. Doors open, 1 hallway, dim lights, 6 doors on each side, all closed. All silent, like nobody else existed in the building. Room 12 was all the way at the end. The door was already open. And inside, there's this guy waiting for me. Maybe mid-50s, white lab coat, no name tag, doesn't smile, doesn't introduce himself. He just says, "Mr. Chen, you're subject 7. Welcome to the experiment." Subject 7, not David. Subject 7. The room was simple. Hospital bed, chair, desk, small bathroom. No windows, no clock. The man explained the rules. His voice was monotone, like he'd said this 100 times. You will sleep here for 5 nights, 8 hours per night. We will monitor your brain activity. You will not be harmed. You will not be touched. You will not see any other subjects. I asked what they were studying. He didn't answer, just handed me a consent form. I signed it. I didn't read it. I should have read it. He left, the door locked behind him. I heard it, a heavy, metallic click. And then, silence. Complete silence. I'm talking about the kind of silence that makes your ears ring. No ventilation sounds, no footsteps in the hall, nothing. I tried to sleep, couldn't. Laid there for what felt like hours. Then, the light in the room started to dim, slowly. So slowly I almost didn't notice. And as it dimmed, I started to hear something. breathing. Not my breathing, someone else's, in the room. I sat up, looked around, no one there, but the breathing continued, slow, steady, right next to my ear. The lights went completely dark, and the breathing stopped. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up the next morning, 8 hours later exactly. The door unlocked. The man came in, asked me one question. "Did you dream?" I said no, I didn't remember dreaming. He wrote something down and said, "Good, that means it's working." Night 2, same thing, silence, dimming light, breathing. But this time, the breathing had a rhythm. In, out, in, out. Like whoever it was trying to sync with my breathing. In, out, in, out. And then it started breathing faster, faster than humanly possible. I panicked, ran to the door, pounded on it, screamed. No answer. The breathing stopped, lights out. I woke up 8 hours later. Night 3, I tried to stay awake, forced my eyes open, but the dimming light, it wasn't just dimming, it was pulsing, slowly, rhythmically, like a heartbeat. And I realized the light was syncing to my heartbeat, which meant they were monitoring more than just my brain. They were watching everything. That night, I had my first dream. At least, I think it was a dream. I was standing in that same room, but I wasn't alone. There were 12 beds, 12 people, all sleeping, including me. I walked to each bed, looked at their faces. They were all me, different ages, different versions, but all me. And at the end of the room, standing in the corner, was someone else. No face, no features, just a silhouette, watching all 12 versions of me sleep. It raised its hand, pointed at me, the real me, and it said, "Only one of you leaves." I woke up screaming, covered in sweat. The door unlocked immediately. The man came in. He looked pleased, actually smiled for the first time. He said, "You're progressing faster than the others. 2 more nights, Mr. Chen." I wanted to leave. Tried to refuse night 4, but the man said something that made my blood freeze. "If you leave now, the experiment continues. Without you. But you'll still be part of it." I didn't understand, but something in his eyes told me he wasn't lying. Night 4. This time, I didn't wait for the lights to dim. I searched the room, looked for cameras, found nothing. But under the bed, I found something else. A piece of paper, folded, hidden in the bed frame. I opened it. It was a note, handwritten, shaky letters. "I'm subject 4. If you're reading this, you're subject 7. Don't finish the experiment. On the 5th night, they don't let you wake up." My hands were shaking. I checked the date on the note. October 2017. 2 years ago. I started searching more frantically. Found another note, different handwriting. Subject 2, 2015. I finished all 5 nights. I woke up, but I didn't leave. I'm still here, somewhere. Another note, and another. 6 notes total. 6 subjects before me. All warning me, all saying the same thing. Don't sleep on night 5. That night, I confronted the man, showed him the notes, demanded to know what was really happening. For the first time, he looked nervous. He said, "Those subjects, they didn't follow the protocol. They resisted. And when you resist, you become aware of the others." I asked, "What others?" He looked at me and said something I'll never forget. "Every time you sleep, David, you're not just dreaming, you're splitting, creating another version of yourself in another layer of consciousness. Most people never notice, but this experiment, it makes you aware. It shows you all your other selves. And on the 5th night, we collapse them all back into one." I asked what happened if they don't collapse properly. He didn't answer, just said, "Get some sleep, Mr. Chen. Tomorrow is your last night." I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. Stayed awake. Paced the room. But exhaustion doesn't care about fear. At some point, I sat on the bed, just for a second, and I blinked. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in the room anymore. I was standing in an endless hallway, hundreds of doors, thousands, stretching forever. And behind each door, I could hear myself. Different versions. Some were crying, some were laughing, some were screaming. I opened the first door, saw myself at age 10, in my childhood bedroom, staring at me. He said, "You're not supposed to be here yet." I opened another door, myself at age 60, old, dying in a hospital bed. He looked at me and said, "You never made it past tonight." I started running, opening doors. Every version of me, every age, every choice I could have made. And at the end of the hallway, one final door. It was already open. Inside was that room, the experiment room. And on the bed, I was lying there, asleep. Standing over me was the silhouette from my dream. It turned to look at me, and finally, I saw its face. It was me, but not any version I recognized. It was all of them, every version, merged, wrong. It spoke in my voice. "You can't leave, David, because you never arrived. You've been asleep since night 1. I woke up on November 18th, 2019, in my apartment, in my own bed. The research facility doesn't exist. I looked. The address leads to an empty lot. The $3,000? Never deposited. No record of the transaction. According to my bank records, I never left my apartment that week. But I remember everything. The room, the man, the notes, the hallway. And sometimes, late at night, I still hear breathing next to my bed. Slow, steady, syncing with mine. In, out, in, out. I don't know if I ever left the experiment, or if I'm still subject 7 on night 5, trying to wake up. But here's what terrifies me most. 2 weeks ago, I got a call, unknown number. I answered. A woman's voice, professional, cold. She said, "Mr. Chen, you're subject 7. Welcome to the experiment." And then she said, "This is your second attempt."